Gavin Newsom trying to move back towards the middle, trying to have a conversation with people on the right, because he understands that being a far left Democrat is a losing strategy. He's trying to hedge his bet and trying to move towards the middle before everyone else decides to do that in the Democrat Party. Because like they say, first, what's that saying? First one in, best dressed, right? That's what he's trying to be. And he's trying to present himself as a quality candidate, as a sensible candidate, as a moderate. So the Democrat Party are screwed. They're leaderless. They're rudderless. They have no policy. They have no direction. They're screwed.
I don't know why you think they're screwed. They're still a party, and people go from left to right all the time, right to left, and there's reversals, and people forget very quickly the crimes of the past, and then they go right back left. So if you think they're screwed, they're not screwed. What the American people are screwed, but the Democrat Party is not screwed.
I largely think they're screwed.
Sure. They're a pretty toxic brand right now. I don't know.
They're screwed. More and more young people are identifying as conservatives. I don't see how they went back to the young vote. I honestly don't. Every one of their policies blows up in their faces.
Yeah,
What
but
idea can they pitch? What new idea can they pitch to the American people that are going to get them on the vote and say, you know what, I can vote for this without saying Donald Trump bad?
free shit. What do you think people vote for? They vote for free shit. If you lost your Medicare, Medicaid, and your housing subsidy and your Social Security payment, you're going to vote for the hardcore communists who are going to keep printing fake money to get you paid.
And look how well that shit worked out for them. They offered everything under the sun for votes, and they still lost.
They offered transgender prison surgeries for illegal aliens. They didn't even offer more free shit for people.
I mean, the problem is Americans just don't trust Democrats on the
Absolutely, go
economy.
down.
That's really it. They just don't trust them on the economy, and for good reason. You know, I'm not saying Republicans are that much better, but I'm just saying, like, the ideas that we're getting, bandied about, like Kamala. I mean, I don't know if you guys remember. I mean, I think this is when it went left for Kamala, was when she started proposing that unrealized gains tax, which is just completely idiocy, right? It's complete idiocy. And it's like, when you have those kind of policy proposals, how do you really come back from that? Like, it's pathetic. I don't know. And then, of course, the student loan thing, canceling student loans and blah, blah, blah. And, like, the thing that happened during COVID where it's like, okay, let's put a break on this. All right.
Yeah, okay, we got
Let's
that.
extend it indefinitely for...
Can you stop being disruptive? Like, I know that you think that it's cute to be trolling over the age of 25 Starbucks, but it's really fucking annoying. Like, it's really annoying.
Yeah. Anyway. So, yeah, that's basically it.
Who's talking? Mr. Adams.
Just kick her.
No, I muted her. It's Starbucks. What? Did you want to say something? I can't. Did you know you were unmuted?
No, they know.
We having a little bit of schnapps right now? What's the deal?
I think it's more than schnapp.
This is El Normo, Mark Rice in Chicago, and I'm running for Congress. Max Rice is my campaign manager, and we're fighting the Chicago GOP, and it turns out that it's not even a uniparty. It's like a sick agreement between Republicans and Democrats to do nothing, to kick the can down the road forever. And the head of the Chicago GOP is now modeling in some kind of Chinese male model fashion show. And he goes to Vietnam and opens a business with a Chinese partner. So I'm not like a Chinese conspiracy theorist, but there's foreign influence in the parties. And it's a lot of incompetency, no America first, and it's kind of people like Starbucks who sit there and just moan shit while you're trying to have an intellectual conversation about the problem.
Don't lower it. She's just one person. Don't lower it to just one person.
I'm just saying. I mean, I'm being facetious. I don't care about Starbucks. But I mean, let her moan all she wants. I mean, Starbucks, if you want, we can open a room later and do an English course for you and go over the top 100 English words.
That's my joke, Doge, and you've streamed me enough to know that. I make fun of people when they troll and their English isn't good.
But, back to my point about them are screwed, right? Every single thing that everything that comes out of their mouth, they're being proven a hypocrite on. Every single thing. And I keep harking back to the DNC. I don't think people fully understand how important watching the DNC and watching them in full form, how they trotted themselves out for 4 days trying to court the American vote. And they exposed themselves to a degree I don't think military strategists could achieve. Right? They got on stage and they talked, and I'm gonna bring up these top 3 things to me. One thing about it, it was already enough that Chris Cuomo was calling them out to their faces about being elitist and how they were booking $1 million suites so they can look down on the plebes and stuff in the United Center and all that stuff, and how they claim to be for the working person, the working man, right? The working person. But you were catering to multi-million dollar donors and shit, right? They took top priority. Yeah, okay, cool. But when you have Bernie Sanders on stage talking about we need to get the millionaires and the billionaires out of politics, right? Notice, since he became a millionaire, he doesn't say millionaire anymore. He only talks about billionaires, right? We need to get the billionaires out of politics. And immediately after he spoke, who came up on stage? Billionaire Governor J.B. Pritzker spoke on stage. But hey, get the billionaires out of politics. All right, right. They talked about J.D. Vance and how, he's come from Appalachia, but he has a Yale education. I'm sorry, but 60 to 70% of the Democrat Party went to Yale. Did they not? Yeah, they did. They talked about Donald Trump and how he was an existential threat to women and he's a sex offender and a rapist and blah, blah, blah. Who else got on stage and spoke? Bill fucking Clinton. Bill Clinton. Everything that they fucking say, they don't understand how stupid they look.
I mean, they had Megan Thee Stallion, headlining, Kamala's campaign. Like, I mean, it can't get any worse than that. And I'm telling you, there are plenty of white people that are sitting there looking at that, and they're just like, I can't even go on a Carnival cruise anymore because it turns into a bust-down cookout. Like, and here it is, we're at a freaking campaign rally, and it turns into a freaking strip club.
Mm-hmm. And it's like, hey, Blackman was asking Kamala, hey, what have you got plans for us? Mind you now, it was the DNC that sent the internal memorandum to the Biden administration months before the election cycle and said, hey, y'all, I think y'all need to pay attention to this. Y'all are hemorrhaging black male votes. Y'all need to do something about this because if you get below a certain percentage point of black male votes, you will lose this election, right? They didn't want to pay attention to that. So now when Kamala Harris is out here campaigning, and black men ask, well, what do you have in store for us? Because honestly, the Democrat Party have no policies that resonate with black males at all. This is how Stacey Abrams lost, right? And she preempted her loss by trying to blame black men. Said if I lose, it's because black men didn't vote for me. Well, no, Stacey Abrams, you just don't have any policies for black men that resonate with them, all right? But when they asked Kamala Harris, what policies did she have for black men? They had to hurry up and scramble and cobble together piecemeal some bullshit in the final few weeks of the goddamn campaign, and they came out with this bullshit that had free weed on it. Free weed! that they want to vote for you because of fucking free weed. I'm sorry, I don't smoke weed. That shit does not resonate with me. That shit does not move the needle with me. That goes to show you how they do not understand the people at all. They're so disconnected. They're out of touch.
You mean it wasn't the mobile abortion clinics outside the United Center that tickled your feather to
Yes,
want
it
to vote
was.
for them?
Vasectomies and abortions.
As somebody put in the chat, the black men don't matter to these people. Whoever said that is right. We're no longer needed. They've split the black community along gender lines, and they obviously, and with Stacey Abrams and Kamala, et cetera, et cetera. Wes Moore, I guess, I don't know if he's going to run. He says he's not, but it's just politically as a chess piece on the board. They already know that the black woman is going to turn voter turnout, the males in the community, and they already have them on lock, given their pandering, inconsistent pandering. So it's kind of like a crazy conundrum they're in. And then one other thing I would call out is the whole Ukraine and Israel, the foreign kind of war, and their failure to have any clear position on it. And just say anything about Israel or Palestine, they have to toe the line and walk the tightrope, because if they say the wrong thing, they're going to get destroyed by the other side of their own base. So they can't say anything affirmatively about Israel. They have to say, no, Israel has a right. And Palestine, stop killing them and slaughtering their children, all that stuff. They have to say all those things and speak out of both sides of their mouth.
Yeah, but Nancy Pelosi, the leadership would have to come out and say, we are now a peace movement. And there's no leader in the Democrat Party that has any credibility to even do that. So you're right. Their party's fucked. But now it's up to the Republicans to hold on to what they have and actually be fiscal conservatives. And they're not doing that. They're giving out all the money in the same way that they did prior administration. So it's one big kick the can down the road and the okey doke on the American people.
I literally just said the party was screwed, and you said I was wrong. And you just said the party is fucked.
I'm saying that the party in power is not fucked in the sense that they can hold on to power if they're actually doing good things for we the people. But the Democrats are the most corrupt group of liars and low IQ clown. It's clown world with them all the time. It really is. It's so frightening to see that the leadership is clowns. It's like, if you served in the military and you served with honorable, intelligent leaders, it's like there's such a disconnect between politics and real world. And it's terrifying because they're the ones who are just writing the checks and getting paid by special interests and lobbyists. They're fraudsters. We have a political industrial complex in this country, which is literally it is ruining your future. These debts won't go away. You may say there's some kind of jubilee or agreement to resolve the debts, but that's not the way debts work. They're perpetual.
They're bought and paid for. Plainly put. Oh, shit. Honestly, in the utopian world, they should not see the goddamn White House for the next 20 to 30 years. Realistically. Principally. Morally. Politically. They should not see the White House again for the next 20 to 30 fucking years. The right has been given a gift. They have been given a gift, to proportions that is untold to man. They have been given a fucking gift right now. And they have the opportunity, a once in a fucking lifetime opportunity, to hold the White House for as long as they want. At this point,
it's going to be JD Vance. I mean, when you see Vance, giving the Pope a Bears jersey yesterday, he's setting the groundwork for a future presidency. But Robert F. Kennedy might become president. I don't know. I'm kind of torn, thinking maybe we should spend on ourselves like drunken sailors, but not in the way we've been doing it, because Trump wants the Federal Reserve to lower the interest rates, and a lot of people hate banks. And if you can make a run on the bank and fuck them over, I mean, and it goes to you, the person in the American society, and we all actually do wealth redistribution and get greedy. I mean, everybody in this country could have $100,000 check, by Friday. So, but we don't do that. We actually send the money overseas to the World Health Organization, to the United Nations, to Ukraine, to Israel, to even Russia. I mean, all you have to look is what the State Department sends the money out to. It's so crazy what we do. We literally go to work every day to send our money overseas to foreign governments and NGOs. I mean, taxpayers should literally be revolting right now at every IRS and Federal Reserve and congressional office there is. We have been getting scammed and fucked hard 25 years. They sold out 50 years of your future. I mean, that's what they've done. Everybody should technically have a surplus at this point. Everybody should be born in this country with a $600,000 credit to go to college and have a down payment on a house. No, you're born into perpetual debt now in this country.
I mean, with U.S. aid and all those other things, I don't know, this is just a conversation topic, but is there any arguments to be made about the footprint, the foreign policy footprint that we have, and essentially what we're doing now is shrinking our footprint, right? And that obviously means that other world powers are going to step in, be it China or Russia or whatever, right? So was there just no value in those things and they were mistaken, or is this truly just a correction of something that...
Why is China going to start footing the bills? Why is Russia going to start? Nobody wants to foot other countries' bills. These were bribes. These were payoffs.
Okay. I mean, I know that China's investing heavily in Africa, for example. I know that there's other third world countries that are going to be... If the United States is not providing aid to these countries, just basically take it that China or Russia is going to step in, whatever form that is. Now, it could be a good thing, and we can say, hey, that's not our taxpayers' problem. At the same time, though, that there is a growing influence outside of America with that. So if it's a calculated, hey, we're cool with it, but just keeping that in mind.
I know, but paying for DEI weather climate change testing in Nigeria is not a priority of taxpayers in any city in the country. I mean, it's again what we were spending the money on. We weren't building some heavy shipping container in the west coast of Africa that we owned and operate, or rebuilding some type of new Panama Canal. I mean, these are terrible investments. You got to look at the ROI and the cost benefits analysis. The Democrats were doing funding fake education nonstop. All this DEI bullshit is education business. It's a scam. It's a fraud. It's theft. I mean, there are no arrests. One person has been arrested, some federal judge who obstructed some Venezuelans' deportation. That's it. We want arrests for fraud, for waste and abuse. I mean, Doge has uncovered supposedly $650 billion in waste. And losers were like, when are we going to get a Doge check? You think you're going to get some $5,000 check from the government? No, just cut the income tax. Get rid of the IRS. Open America up for business on a way that has never been seen before. Build a super city here. Build a new city in Colorado, a new city in California, a new city in Illinois, a new city in Georgia. I mean, open the country up in the way that Dubai, Saudi Arabia, Abu Dhabi does business. They are open for business. This country is run by clown people, and you know it, I know it. And every single time you see a congressperson on television quacking like a clown, I can't fucking believe that people keep voting for these people. So clearly, it's some type of a psychological communication hypnosis. Because basically all these congresspeople, all they are is content creators. They are digital creation entrepreneurs. That's all they are. That's all they do. They're in the communications business. And we have to get wise to the fact that they're essentially nothing but lobbyists doing everything that Pfizer, Moderna, J&J, Google, Comcast, AT&T, Verizon tells them to do. They have millions of dollars in the bank. The leadership from the parties pass the money down to them, and whoever votes yes gets the money based on seniority and other special factors. So you have to vote the person. People don't like Thomas Massey right now because he's voting no on the big beautiful bill. But you have to vote for people like Thomas Massey. The money has to be, if we're going to create fake money, we have to spend it efficiently. And I think everybody has to agree with that.
Well, if we're talking about spending, we listen. I mean, I guess you guys are aware of the the credit downgrade that just happened, and the massive and what do they say in 2030, like the interest payments on the deficit are gonna, like, what is it gonna be, 30% of GDP or something crazy. So we gotta start making some hard decisions, and honestly, like, this big beautiful bill that we're talking about, I don't think it really goes far enough. Like, I don't see how. We gotta start cutting, like, and we're gonna have to make societally, and this is outside of, I guess, getting away from which candidate, because things are already set in motion. Like, either we cut Medicare spending, we gotta say, hey, if you're a senior citizen and you make, over X amount a year, like, hey, we're gonna diminish your Medicare, like, payouts or something like that. We have to start doing something like that, because the path we're on is unsustainable. There's no way.
Probably.
Like, Trump is talking about external tariff, external revenue service, and this, that, and the third, but we've got to find a way to stop cutting spending dramatically. We got to audit our defense spending. We have a lot to do. Like, I don't know, and I don't think this bill is going far enough. And I don't like for Trump, all Trump, says and does, it's like this whole thing, oh, no tax on tips. Like, that's just pandering. It's the same thing the Democrats did with like student loan crap they were talking about. Like, what do you mean no tax on tips? Like, why? Or no tax on overtime? Like, what the hell is that good for? Like, I don't know.
It's an annual confession. I mean, if you can't confess to making more than 150,000 a year, why should you even have to file? I mean, if you go to Taxpayer Advocacy Day at any major city, guess who lines the block? It's African Americans by the thousands who are not in compliance and have garnishment and asset seizure forfeiture impacting their families. So, that's the first time I don't know if it's compliance, psychology, or racism, but we the people have to. There's a book. It's called "The Practical Rights to Demand Everything." It's called Greed or Greedy. Basically, it says that in the end, we weren't greedy enough. And so the problem is we're greedy for special interests and lobbyists, because America isn't just lobbied by corporations, it's all lobbied by foreign governments as well. So we chuck out money out of this country through the State Department and foreign aid that why do we even, it's like, why go to work to pay all these countries? It's just from the individual taxpayer's perspective, you realize that you were bought and sold for at birth. You were created to go to work to create revenue, to give it out to these countries, but we just borrow it now. 35% of the economy is borrowed money from the Federal Reserve, China, and other countries. That's 35% of our supposed economy. It's not a real economy. This is a fake economy. I mean, the job numbers are all fake. Even the stock market is inflated. The whole thing is built on Congress and the Federal Reserve kicking the can down the road. The danger of pulling the rug out on that is that the whole engine will break, and that the car will no longer even operate, which could be a good reset, a hard reset. It may be nobody can pull the plug, but if we ever wanted to get honest in this country and not do currency manipulation and fake money creation, I mean, the whole economy would crash, and it would be literally. But again, it would take a couple hard years. I mean, imagine if Social Security recipients didn't get their Social Security money, VA's, pensions, and all. Imagine if the flow of money just stopped because we actually admitted, okay, there's no more money because we're not going to raise the debt limit, and they just raised it 5 trillion. And they're planning on spending 20 trillion more than previously estimated over the next 10 years. So maybe it's a good thing, maybe it's a bad thing, but I know personally no one can run their life like that. Only the government can. So they have a superordinary godlike power to survive. It's an immortal civilization is an immortal creature, apparently.
got to get some automatic, like, we need to make changes to like the budgetary process, like for the federal government. Like we need to get some automatic, like ironclad, like okay, once you reach this threshold, like automatically spending has to be cut. You know, we've got to do something. You know, and you're right. Like if we try to rip the Band-Aid off now, we're going to crash the economy. And you know the implication. We're America, and like we should have sovereign, oversight of our own affairs. But it's like it's not just us. We're not just some like country in South America. Like if the moves we start making are going to impact the entire global economy.
See, the irony is all these other central banks, Europe and China, they do the same thing we do and they keep it at parity. And that's essentially the Forex market. But imagine if we were to pull the rug out first and we suffered a few years of incredible hardship. Actually, the rest of the world, and we opened up our business floodgates, the rest of the world would pour into America and it would actually reverse course. That's the only probably way to really save the economy is to crash it and open it up to foreign investment and suck out the world's available free capital that wants to get out of their shitty countries. I mean, and maybe even add 50 million people to the country and open new super cities. I mean, our cities suck. They are old and antiquated. They're not modern and they're not built for scale. So, I mean, there's a huge opportunity, but the thing is, the way we're using the money sucks. You know, your Medicare, your Medicaid, your doctors, and those solutions, those suck. If your fat ass isn't in the gym and eating healthy, your health is gonna suck. But why are you taking $10,000 a month worth of prescriptions that the government is paying for? So, anyways, it's the flow of money and the essentially the magnitude of the money, but the way we're spending it sucks. Ukraine sucks. 100 billion, 500 billion there sucks. War in Afghanistan, Iraq, multi-trillion sucks. Like the way we spent the money was not an investment on we the people. We got no return on investment. Everyone outside the country and the biggest corporations around the world got all that money. And there's trillions of dollars sitting in offshore bank accounts in foreign tax havens. That's our money. We, the taxpayers, owe that fucking money now. And that money is sitting in foreign banks overseas. And you could read the Panama Papers and all those other, leaks. But there are trillions of our dollars sitting overseas that we generated, we spent, and we don't own it.
Yeah. So you said something about opening up like the floodgates or something like that in terms of foreign investment. What barriers exist now?
Just go try to open a pizza parlor. Go try to open a hamburger shop. Go try to open a movie theater. Like, what kind of barriers exist to opening a business? The tax compliance alone becomes a separate business. So it's impossible to start a business in the real world. Only place you can start a business is the internet because there's no regulation or very little oversight. So good luck opening a business in America. If they don't, the problem is not just the federal, it's the states. And it's your local county Democrats and your local mayor Democrats and all these Karens that have never operated a business and are sucking their taxpayers dry with their pensions and their salaries. So you know it, I know it. We live in clown world. We have to essentially either figure out a way to operate clown world efficiently, or we have to burn clown world to the ground. I mean, I would propose that the US federal government suspend habeas corpus and maybe even create a one federal republic and essentially go from 50 states to one state. Because to let California, Illinois, New York, and other mega Democrat city states to continue to operate in this federation of republics, it's just not efficient. I mean, if we really want to get efficient, we have to essentially create create the new America, which is no longer the states of America, but maybe just create one giant federal system and eliminate all state pensions and everything and turn it all over to one administration. I know that sounds ridiculous, but essentially, whether you're getting taxed by the federal government or your state or your utilities, etc., people are going broke. Bankruptcies are through the roof. Childbirth has plummeted. Like America is in a fiscal crisis and in a magnitude that's unsustainable. Chairman Powell says it's unsustainable, and so it's basically going to become Weimar Republic hyperinflation and the Hunger Games. That's not how the founders of the country wanted this republic to operate. We should have sole authority to determine our destiny, not Congress and the Federal Reserve. I mean, they're totally detached from we the people. It's one giant connected organization that is profiting off of the backs of we the people. We're being taxed to death. Property taxes, income taxes, your electric, your utility, your gas, this tax, that tax, your admissions for your vehicle. It's like a never-ending job now trying to stay alive to support your government. So the system has whittled us down to the highest degree possible. There's nothing else to whittle down. So I don't know. That's my opinion. I like how there's this like belief that robots are going to become so intelligent that they'll be able to build other robots and essentially create something from nothing. It's just not possible. Everything is metaphysics essentially, and I don't know what the solution is. No one could possibly know the future or any true solutions or what the best models or best optimization is for saving the republic known as America. But I have had fun ranting. Mike, how's your morning? What are you doing right now? Are you just listening? Are you at a job site? Or are you in your office podcasting?
Oh, I'm just listening right now.
Yeah, when I saw Trump today say, we don't even talk to Thomas Massey. Well, Chairman Powell the other day said, well, I don't even talk to Trump. So there's a lot of people in government that don't want to talk to each other. And they don't talk to each other because it's based on supermajority. So I don't know. But see, the thing is, social justice on the internet is what's bringing the awareness to the problem, is that there is a failure to communicate at the highest levels of government. And the Doge team has openly said there's no cross communication between any agencies. Social Security doesn't talk to VA. VA doesn't talk to IRS. So there's this huge siloing that has taken place in the federal government, and there's no efficiency. So, anyways, I mean, we're going to spend. I don't know. Have you seen the big beautiful bill and how big it is, and how it raises the debt limit and future debt borrowing? It's like the biggest bill of all time. The bills just keep getting bigger and bigger. They're supposed to get smaller and smaller, but maybe this time we'll actually use the money for good as opposed, for war and foreign influence and bribery.
See, the way I see it sometimes, I don't know if I'm right about this or not, the system has to be blown up. The people that are going to suffer the most if it gets blown up are the elite rich people who have found out how to use this system to make so much money. So this idea that like the middle class has to take a big hit to blow up the system. No, it's that rich people have to take a big hit to blow up the system because more often than not, they've found a way to work with the existing system and to capitalize on its inefficiencies. So, and that's not going to happen. They're actually doing better than they've ever done. So this idea that somehow, the system needs to be blown up is true. The idea it's not being blown up because people on Medicare want their monthly check. No, I call bullshit on it. The reason it's not being blown up is because billionaires have figured out how to work the system, and they're not going to allow any threat to the existing
Yeah.
federal exchange and investment.
It's like, dude, the
accounts.
spice must flow. That spice is the dollar creation of debt, and that spice must flow. It's the ultimate priority. And it's kind of funny, but if you cut the spice production, you destroy the government. So, and just think historically, what always survives? The government always survives. The people are the ones that suffer. So I don't know. I mean, it's kind of funny to think that, like, you may be
Well,
pro-business.
the government and large corporations buoyed by the government survive too. It's both. It's not just the government. It's also large corporations that are too big to fail. They survive too. That's the problem. The problem is that capitalism isn't occurring because the government's interfering and allowing large businesses to not fail.
Yeah, the '08 banking financial crisis is the perfect example of that, where the banks literally went insolvent. Lehman Brothers collapsed. I mean, but they bailed out, they picked and chose.
What I want to hear is more people talk about both the government and the big businesses that are too big to fail. I want to hear people put them both in the same category. I'm really tired. One of the reasons I push back on Republicans so much is that I'm really tired of them, and Democrats are guilty of the same thing. I'm really tired of people giving businesses, big business, the benefit of the doubt. Big businesses are increasingly an equal part of the problem. It's the same reason that billionaires just changed parties overnight, because they realized one was going to help them financially more than the other. They couldn't give a shit less about the social issues that they might actually believe in deep in their hearts. Who cares? If it comes up against human rights versus my paycheck, I'm taking my paycheck every time. So I want, until America, when you say America lets them, we're not greedy enough, it's true, we're not. But the corporations are greedy enough, and the government is helping the corporations. It's really important that we start talking that way. Until we do, we will keep suffering like that. You were talking earlier about this idea that if we quit giving so much money away to people, look, we could give everyone $100,000. You tried to give $100,000 to everybody right now, even if you had it. Republicans would be the first one to say, no fucking way, pay down the debt. Don't give it to the people, right? Just pay down the imaginary debt that was rang up by the same people that are already ringing it up. No, it's not going to do any good. As far as I'm concerned, if you're an American citizen and you can get a fucking dollar from the government, fucking take it. Take as much as you can.
Yeah.
Because they are taking as much as they can. So where are the people saying, no, we should cut costs to give back to the people? No, because the party, especially the Republican Party, pushes back on giving back to the people. They think anytime you're giving back to the people and not benefiting large corporations, you're hurting what they say is the average American. Really, you're hurting.
Yeah, you're in the matrix at the end there, but I mean, we know that the Treasury, when you file a tax return, you get a lot of people get tax refunds. I mean, they could make Liberty check payments through there, where Congress actually demands that the Federal Reserve lend them $100,000 per citizen who doesn't make more than 30,000. I mean, this is all wealth redistribution schemes. It's all socialism and communism. But the point is, you have to wonder what's the better path, because the rest of the world, shit rolls downhill. If we decide to do hardcore currency manipulation for we the people, and China doesn't do the same thing, I mean, we're screwing over internet. Anyways, this is all just bullshit, because this is a spam and just an imaginative theoretical communication. It's not real politics. So I don't know. To me, X is the most amazing thing, because there is information on X and individual people that put together content and reframe the situation in a way that is extremely organizing in terms of fiscal responsibility. Anyways, the storm has started here in Chicago. I got to go close my windows.
It's good to talk to you, brother. Thank you.
Yeah, Illinois is the perfect example of basically there is no Republican Party. It's actually just all Democrats that filled the roles of Republicans, because there are no real fiscal conservative Republicans. So I don't know. This is like a generational thing where the baby boomers are responsible, and George Bush particularly because of 9/11, in my opinion. Everything was going pretty smooth until 9/11. Bill Clinton, George Bush. I mean, Bush and the banking industrial complex, the military industrial complex, they really took America for a ride on 9/11. I mean, anybody who could fathom military strategy would have suggested uh, a punitive guerrilla insertion and taken out as many enemies as possible and saved as much money as possible. I mean, it really is the.
They didn't just take them a ride from that. They also took America for a ride when they transitioned pensions to 401ks, where they benefited from both.
Yeah.
They ended up getting the pensions and investing early in 401ks when they had the expendable income, and then they pulled the rug up under them, and now people don't have the expendable income to invest in 401ks. 401ks cost more than ever. They're being paid. The matches are smaller than ever, and the boomers allowed that to happen. So they got the best of both worlds. They're sitting on pensions and lucrative 401ks, and I mean the wealth transfer is going to happen at some point. So we just need to wait for the boomers to die. They basically pulled the rug up. They're hanging on to everything. We'll see if I guess the next step is Zers and millennials. Let's see if they save it or use it properly, or they just go ahead and fucking blow all of the wealth that's been acquired by the boomers and trying to keep up with the Joneses and trying to maintain a middle class lifestyle that increasingly doesn't exist. That's what the future holds. I don't know what's going to happen. The great wealth transfer may not be exact. It might not be as healthy on the back end as it seems to be for the boomers right now on the front end.
I know. Wealth transfer is like a jingoism or a mantra. The wealth is always now. There's no such thing as a transfer. I mean, I know, all these things are legal. I mean, all this shit is set up. I mean, if you know anybody that has a tremendous amount of money, they set up trust funds for their kids as a nonprofit corporation, and it's up to them to distribute the money for nonprofit activities and pay themselves a nice salary. So there's all kinds of workarounds through nonprofits to always evade estate taxes, income taxes, and you just live off the nonprofit, and you didn't even pay any tax on that fucking income. So there's a huge loophole if you're organized and you have money. Lawyers and money end up saving money because they know the loopholes in the federal tax code. And if you've ever seen the federal tax code, it's a 6,000-pound manual with 600 million words in it. It's in the finest print you've ever seen. So lawyers and financial advisors and tax accountants, I mean, they have the game rigged if you're wealthy. And even in Berkshire Hathaway, CEO said, my secretary pays a higher income tax rate than I do. So the system's fucked.
But that's why the system will never get blown up. That's why you said this conversation is so meta and completely unrealistic. It's not going to get blown up because they've successfully worked the system to the point now where the middle class is going away, but the upper class is doing better than ever. I mean, it's a huge success. If you were in on it early, if you made the right decisions early, then you're good to go. There's nothing to blow up. I'll tell you what, I have to shout out my boss. So I work for a billionaire personally as a salaried employee, but for his personal family, I guess, business. And he gives scholarships to everybody that works for him to our kids. And the scholarships are you get it regardless, just if your kid goes to school. They're $6,000 a year, so $24,000 a year for each of my twins that are graduating right now, coming from my boss, which is pretty sweet. I was thinking about it, and I was like, man, if all companies, that'd be one way to change America. If all companies took over the burden of paying for kids' colleges to eliminate those student loans so kids didn't graduate with so much debt, being crunched by all the student loans that were completely fraudulently sold to us as safe when they're the most dangerous loans ever created. That alone would change America.
Well, I don't know if you saw what Doge uncovered, but literally national and foreign criminals are using FAFSA and doing college loans with identity fraud and literally stealing money from the Department of Education and for all these college loans and using AI chatbots even is part of the process. So there's huge fraud rings that operate off and feast off of our federal government. IRS annual returns. I think it's a $30 billion fraud ring annually that steals money from tax returns and identity theft. So again, this is where individuals like Doge, because if we can't eliminate that type of fraud and those types of scams, and people's doors aren't getting kicked in Romania or Russia or China or wherever the hell a lot of these criminal fraud rings are operating, you can't get international cooperation. Like that is so fucked up. The worst fuck up is if you have a portfolio with a major broker company, and somebody does identity theft and transfers your life savings out, and you can't get the money back from the bank, and it went to some criminal, in wherever. So, I mean that type of shit it's a major problem. But anyways, I think we have like examined every problem in clown world today. I just say, try to vote for people who actually can describe it as clown world, because if you're voting for somebody who doesn't describe it as clown world, they are the clown and they're the problem. Like Karen Bass and Mayor Brandon Johnson in Chicago, these are hardcore racist communist terrorists, in my opinion. Chicago, it's like a lawless city. I mean, people are getting shot and robbed throughout the city all week long. There are homeless, fentanyl addicts robbing you on the train, sleeping in every train car. We live in clown world. The police have no power to actually do anything. I mean, fill the prisons up. Get the drug addicts and the prisoners. I mean, the homeless criminals off the streets. I mean, it's not criminal to be homeless, but if they're obstructing people from going to work,
they need to fill the prisons with Caucasian white collar criminals, not black criminals from the streets.
No, I know, but there should be some option. I mean, if you're homeless and they're building a mega work site in your state, and you want to volunteer for housing, food, and a job, I mean, so be it. Like, there's got to be. I mean, I guess nobody wants to do that, but that's why they're sleeping on the trains doing fentanyl. But anyways, again, I'm just projecting, imaginative meta of what could be. But have you ever seen anything change in your whole life? I've never really seen anything actually change. It seems to me like I have witnessed the can get kicked down the road my whole life.
Sometimes I think they give money to the wrong people when they do give money, because like when I lived in Seattle, one of my first homes I ever owned was a little condominium type things, freestanding, so it looked like a little house, but it was small and independent. But it was a condo, and I think we paid $188,000 for it at the time. Well, our neighborhood actually was accessed by crossing through a really small neighborhood on the way in, and that neighborhood had homes bigger than ours. They were Habitat for Humanity homes, and the rule was that the people had to put in, like, I think it was 20 hours a week in helping to build their own house, and then they got the house for free. And these Habitat for Humanity homes were really nice. They were nicer than our homes by far. So then we all move in, and fast forward 2 years, and guess which homes were complete shitholes within about 2 years compared to the other ones, right? So the Habitat for Humanity homes, the ones that the people helped build and got for free, they didn't fucking mow their yards. They were complete shitbags living in their free houses. And all the people that invested in these condos and paid for their own shit had this beautiful little neighborhood. We had to drive through a shitty neighborhood to get a good one. So I felt like, well, fuck, they gave the money to the wrong fucking people. They should have given the money to us and don't give fucking free houses to people. You think I wouldn't put in 20 hours a week after hours, build my own fucking house if I could have it for free? Yeah, I would. I mean, they were helped with doing it. They just had to add the labor. They were already had fucking crews building them.
So what you're saying is Jimmy Carter, and I mean, it's basically what you're saying is people don't respect shit that's not their shit, that they didn't work for and buy on their own.
They don't respect free shit. That's completely true. And And it really put a bad taste in my mouth for Habitat for Humanity. I worked for Home Depot corporate at the time at their world headquarters, and we were big Habitat for Humanity people. I was doing Habitat for Humanity jobs and stuff at the time. I quit doing it. I quit volunteering for it internally. I didn't talk badly about it because Home Depot still sold on it. But I quit helping with it because I was like, no, I already saw what the fuck happens. Like, I'm not okay with this being my charity.
Yeah, I mean, but they still got to pay property taxes, and I bet you that they maybe even get special assessments or something because of their status.
They have to, because the property taxes are too much. I mean, the property taxes are a $1,500 a month mortgage on their own. There's no fucking way that these people are paying their property taxes. I don't know what happens there, but there's something going on.
Property taxes are such a big issue here in Chicago. It's so crazy, like how much property taxes have gone up on people, and they're just going to keep going up. And the city spent $600 million, housing aliens, but it's more than that. It's like $1 billion to $2 billion. But the city of Chicago is like in a very precarious financial situation because they always rely on Democrat presidents to essentially bail them out. And they're not going to get the check this year from Trump.
But think about that cycle too. So in Atlanta, I just saw a report. They researched it. Over 30% of the homes that are for sale in Atlanta are owned by companies, not people. 30 fucking percent. That's happened since in the last like 5-10 years. That happened. That they took over that many homes. That's Greater Atlanta area. Now, all of the property taxes are rising a lot too. My property taxes went up $2,000 for the year last year. I think I was paying $5,600 and it went to like $78 or something. Okay, in one fucking year. Now, if I can't pay that, I mean that's $600-700 a month on a paid off house in my case. If I couldn't pay that for some reason, when before it was $300-400 a month, well then, who's buying it? 30% of the time, companies are buying it, and then they're renting those houses out. So the increasing property taxes are benefiting increasingly corporations who are charging more for rent than the mortgages would cost regular people to get into a home. And that's a fairly new phenomenon. Essentially, it's a middleman in the real estate, a corporate middleman in the real estate agency.
Well, real estate.
The reason you can't buy a car directly anymore using Auto Trader. You got to go through some fucking Carvana or some other company. That's happening.
Yeah, real estate investment trusts have always existed for a long time, but there's a house near me that got bought up. I mean, nobody even moved into it. So, I mean, if it was like some kind of BlackRock syndication that bought it, maybe they're not even renting them because they just view it as an asset, and they can get the tax break and the appreciation. Yeah. So they're using it as like, it's a horrible way to store value though, but
I don't know if it is though. It depends on where you're at. It isn't a horrible way to store value.
The operating costs are insane.
I work for a billionaire that owns probably 100 homes that are right now. There's nobody in them, running AC and everything all day long.
That's fucking crazy. So,
yeah, he doesn't rent them out because he doesn't want people to ruin them. Like it's not worth it. It's not worth the headache of renting it out if you don't need the income right now.
That's crazy. What a waste. I mean, because homes are supposed to be lived in. This is the worst thing about the grind and the 9 to 5 is many people buy a house, but they never even get to live in it. And then when they retire, they die, and they never got to live in the house that they paid for.
That's what'll happen. Yeah.
I mean, I guess, yeah, they sleep in it. That's it. It's basically it's 4 walls and a roof to sleep in to protect yourself from the elements so you can get back to work and continue paying off the federal debt.
Well, I mean, the guy I work for, he has ranches and stuff. So there's people that work on the ranches that live in some of the houses. So in some cases, they're a part of their salaries. Like they basically live in his houses, and then he doesn't have to pay as much salary. So it's a way to work it. And then at least you have a little control over it because they're your employees, you know.
It's kind of crazy when you have billions and billions of dollars, you end up creating like your own microeconomy and your own state almost. Like a business.
That's what I'm talking about. That's what's interesting. Like when I said I'm a salaried employee, but I really work for a family who needs things, right? I mean, they need an electrician, they need a plumber. Like they don't want want just any old person coming into their world to work on something on a one-off basis, which makes sense. I'd be the same damn way. I mean, once they trust you, once they know you're not going to steal, and once they know you're not going to, share secrets, at that point, yeah, it's better to just pay you as a full-time salaried employee and then have somebody you can depend on for all kinds of things, from not just cooking your food, but doing your electrical work and maintaining your security systems and everything else,
Yeah, and they have very complex problems that require I don't know, a lot of it is they want anonymity or they want security and yeah, it's all that stuff. But anyhow, I mean, it's been a fascinating conversation. But I'm gonna leave here in 7 minutes. El Normo, what do you think the solution is for America over the next 10 years? What's your 10-year plan, Dr. El Normo? Is it just peace and equanimity?
My guess is he's not listening because I don't think Norm can sit this long and not talk if he's involved. I think that's impossible.
He's not.
Prove me wrong, Normal. Prove me wrong.
I'll get in with you guys on this. But also, I wanted to say too. So, Mike, you're up in Seattle, I think you said, and George, you're over in Chicago.
Yeah, I'm in Atlanta, and he's in Chicago.
Okay, yeah, cool. It's kind of funny and weird how different. I'm down in South Florida, and how different everybody's issues are across the country. I travel a lot too. I fly up to New York, I go to Philadelphia, I'm in Atlanta sometimes, and when you hit these areas where you're talking about the crime and the drugs and everything, and I'm originally from New York. My mom, my parents, they're big on the city. They love to go down there, huge with the arts and Broadway and all those kind of things. And my mom doesn't even want to go down to the city anymore because she's talking about the crime on the subways and things that she's seen and things that her friends have seen. And, down here in Florida, we don't really have a lot of that. It's kind of very different. And I think when you look at states and the way that they run